Now we go to race 8 of the meeting. Out of 22 today, it's Senior Rotax Heat 4, Group C versus D. Let's have a look at your starting grid. On pole position, it will be Matthew Higgins. Alongside him on the front row will be Zsombor Kovács. Austin Lee, one of the heat winners from earlier on today, will be joined by Poland's David Autlechner on row 2. Petra Babičková and Paul Hamburg from the Czech Republic and Estonia round out row 3. Dion van Werven and Montego Masson round out the top 4 rows. Tobias Clausen, and I think I did spot that Lachlan Robinson may not be taking any further part due to illness. Due to start on row 5, Nevio Fischer and Marcelo Cui. Row 6, Alejandro Samaniego on, and William Christensen ran at the top 14. Jules Roussel and Yuri Tenhef round out row 8. Row 9, it's Sverre Ubben and Pablo Colomer. Angus Scrivener and Amanda Salonen round out the top 20. Nicky Gauci, Mats Johan Overhoff, Laurie Lecry, Rafael Jesus, Richard Lilien, Pedro Barbosa, Tom Vuau, Anthony Bilou, Zino Falca, and Pedro Arango round out the 30-strong grid. It is confirmed, according to the timing, that Lachlan Robinson has not ventured out onto the circuit. So we will have 29 out of 30 starters. So one more race to take us into the lunch break. Red lights on the gantry. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. We are underway. Looks like Matthew Higgins got a very good start. So did Austin Lee. Bit of a repeat of the previous race, which Austin Lee came out on top and won the race as they go up the hill. Sunshine continuing to beat down on the circuit once again in terms of intensity. So across the hill they go. Higgins leads the way. Austin Lee in second. Third, it's Zsombor Kovács. Fourth is going to be the 365 of David Autlechner. Higgins goes defensive into turn number 12. And Austin Lee trying to find a way through. He might be a newcomer to the Strawberry Racing crew as Austin Lee, but my goodness me, he's definitely, well, it's going to be, I mean, look at the top 5. Petra Babičková right at the tail end of that field. But keep your eyes on her. She was second behind Austin Lee in the previous heat that they competed in. It's now, oh, it's getting a bit close for comfort as now Austin Lee looks to the inside. And is he going to get through? No, he's not, because Higgins, I think, might have kept it planted. Zsombor Kovács looking for the move up the inside, and he gets through on Austin Lee to take second. Brilliant anticipation, as always, by Zsombor Kovács, especially when it comes to those close-fire combat situations like that one. Petra Babičková has now made her way up into 4th place, which she has. Battle a little bit behind. Autlechner now into 5th place. Did lose out ever so briefly to Dion van Werven from the Netherlands in the 377. They've got the 373 of Paul Hamburg from Estonia right with them. And the entire field, from 1st to 29th after the opening lap, was covered by just 7.7 seconds. And now it's going to start kicking off at the front end of the field. Higgins keeping defensive ahead of Kovács, who was looking. He was trying to take a little bit more curb as the Hungarian, going through into turn 17. Austin Lee has got the double slipstream coming down the start-finish straight, and now pulls to the inside of the 341. Kovács went for the move and sent it, and gets through on Higgins. And Austin Lee was also trying to make sure that he was in that situation, and Petra Babičková is just waiting in the wings to see what transpires. And then, oh my goodness, Austin Lee has ended up a little bit wide. Outlation's got through. Van Verven nearly getting through in the meantime too. We haven't even gotten started yet, folks. And then there's a change between Higgins and Kovac, and Higgins is back in the lead through turn number 11. Mistake from Kovac, I suspect, there. So he slots back into second position. And still after 2 laps, the field entirely covered just by 4 1,000ths shy of 8 seconds. Look at the front end of this field. There is probably, I'm going to say this right now, there is a dozen karts that could, maybe even slightly more than that, that could compete for this race victory in heat number 4 for senior Rotax. Higgins on the limit of adhesion going through into turn 1, keeping it planted in front of Zombor Kovac. Babičkova in third. Austin Lee trying to get past on David Altlechner for 4th position. Top 5 after the last lap around. Lap 3 completed. 6.5 tenths. Kovac takes a look over the left shoulder. Waits for the opportunity to get past Matthew Higgins, as there is a change between David Altlechner and Austin Lee, with the latter getting through for 4th position. And a little bit further back, oh my goodness, a little bit further back, I think Paul Hamburg just launched the back end of his kart over the curbs, going through into turn number 14 and through into 16 and 17. There is some side-by-side argy-bargy happening right about now. And a couple of them are from Kraft Motorsport, one of which might be, that's Nevio Fischer is one of them. And Montego Masson being the other. Oh my goodness me, you put 2 very, very highly motivated young drivers from Kraft Motorsport side by side, be warned. But there has been a change. Petra Babičkova has now made a move up the inside of Zombor Kovac to take 2nd position. So a great move from Petra there to get through for P2. Zombor Kovac, Austin Lee, David Altlechner still line astern, 2nd to 5th. Keep your eyes on Dion van Verven. A little bit further back, I've just spotted Sverre Ubben from GKS. A little bit further back behind them, Montego Masson just sent it. Like literally sent it up the inside, more than likely on Nevio Fischer. So, as it's all kicking off at the front of the field, Babičkova has lost 2nd position to Kovac once again. And Kovac is gesticulating. You do not need to do that right now. Just concentrate on what you need to do and keep pushing forward. If there's been a little bit of a touch, I can understand it completely. One of the things you don't want to do is lose your head, your cool head in the heat of battle. Austin Lee up the inside through on Petra Babičkova, and they nearly run wide. And oh my goodness me, Altlechner up the inside, and so is Dion van Verven. Oh, that was a perler. Altlechner read that situation perfectly. Austin Lee sent it. Babičkova returned the favour, and Altlechner was past the pair of them. So was Dion van Verven, and quicker than a pair of rats up a drain pipe. Incredible awareness by both those drivers. And now it's all changed once again. And folks, this is just the start of what's going to happen over the next few hours today. Got a long old day, and Dion van Verven points to David Altlechner and says, right, come on, mate, let's go forward, let's move. Let's catch up to those people at the front. I want to go for a top 3, maybe even a victory. But Matthew Higgins now has started to build a little bit of a lead over Zombor Kovac. That lead was nearly 8 tenths last time. It's gone down to 6 tenths because Zombor might have just gotten a little bit, well, he's really picked up the pace. He was nearly a second quicker than his previous lap. It was a 1 minute 4.234. Now he's just put in the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 3.349, and was nearly 1.5 tenths quicker than Higgins in the race lead. So just over 3 minutes to go. Now another change. Austin Lee up the inside of Petra Babičkova, and there is the 390. Tobias Clausen from Denmark has been stealthily making progress, and now is battling way for what would be 5th position on the road. 2.5 minutes still remain. Signals from the mechanics on the gantry, just on the start-finish straight, overlooking the final corner. Still plenty of chess games to be chess moves to be played in the strategic game here in Senior Rotax. They're battling for positions, which, more importantly, for those new to karting that have joined us on the Rotax Max Euro Trophy official YouTube channel, effectively what that means is the higher up you finish, the less points you score towards the ranking after heats. Move has happened a little bit further back. Marcelo Cree has lost out to Angus Scrivener. And also the fact that Hunter Motorsport for this year, they have now renamed the brand on their engines. Well, Venator racing engines, Venator being the Latin for Hunter. A big thank you to Radio Le Mans' Joe Bradley for informing me of that information. Hello, Joe. Hope you're keeping well and I hope you're watching, mate. So 1 minute and 15 still to go. Battle not over yet between Matthew Higgins and Zsombor Kovacs for the race victory. Kovacs has already won a race earlier on today. That was Heat 1. Higgins has yet to take a win to his tally. Anyone might remember his efforts a couple of years ago when he, as a young 14-year-old, when he was still with Dan Holland Racing, and now Zsombor Kovacs is like saying, come on, man, let's just get away from everybody. Get away from everybody. Just keep going. And Higgins is not looking. Higgins is concentrating on what he's doing, not worrying about what Kovacs is wanting to say. Now Matthew takes a look over his shoulder. 35 seconds on the clock remains. We're going to have 2 more laps after this one. So they are line astern, Higgins and Kovacs. 2 more laps to go, including this one. A 10th separates them after 9 laps. On to lap 10 out of 11 we go. So the timer now expiring as we speak. That's it, 10 minutes are up. And 1 more lap to go after this one. Outlechner holding a firm grasp on 3rd place ahead of Austin Lee and Petra Babichkova, who round out the top 5 positions. Tom Vuo, we unfortunately lost early doors on lap number 4. But still 28 of the 29 starters are on the same lap as the leaders. Last lap board out this time. Matthew Higgins is the first one to see it. Zsombor Kovacs is about 2 to 3 kart lengths behind, equating to 0.2 of a second. Through into the right-hander at turn 1, through turn 2, now into the left at 3. Up to 4, then into 5. Into the right at 6. And it's effectively pretty much a quadruple, quintuple right-hander complex. As they go down the hill once again. Just a few more corners to go. Kovacs is just looking behind him. Is he going to try something? Well, he's pulled to the outside of Higgins. Can he try and get the undercut? Not on this particular occasion. Higgins looks over his left shoulder. See the proximity of the front bumper to the rear of his kart. As down towards turn 16, they fly, do the 2 leaders. Kovacs to the outside. Higgins takes the tighter line. 2 more corners remain. Kovacs gets a really good run coming out of turn 16, 17. Is it going to be a drag race to the finish? It could be. Kovacs slots in behind, but it's Higgins that takes the victory by 89 thousandths. David Outlechner takes 3rd position, 9.5 tenths off of the race leader, race winner. So Austin Lee and Petra Babichkova round out the top 5. Dion van Werven, Tobias Clausen, Montego Maassen, Sverre Ubben and Nevio Fischer complete the top 10 overall. Paul Hamburg, Angus Scrivener, Marcelo Cree, William Christensen, Alejandro Samaniego, Jules Roussel, Yuri Tenhef, Ilian Richard, Rafael Jesus having a better time this time around, finishing ahead of Malta's Nicky Gauci in the 3-1-0. Mats Johan Overhoff, Pablo Colomer, Laurie Legris, Zino Falca, Pedro Barbosa, Anthony Bilou, Pedro Arango and Amanda Salinen from Finland round out the 28 drivers that finished all 11 laps. And unfortunately, Tom Voaou retiring on lap 3 and Lachlan Robinson non-starting. So to cap off the last race before the lunch break here on Heats Day, Senior Rotax would provide some pretty nice overtaking and a great racing spectacle. So the lights went out and it was the pair of Matthew Higgins and Austin Lee again that managed to get in front of everybody else and start to pull away. Zsombor Kovac would slot back into third position, ahead of the likes of David Outlechner and Petra Babičková. Then it was this move from Zsombor Kovac, meaning that Austin Lee would find himself dropping ever so slightly down the order, as the likes of Babičková would also try and make her way through and get past with the elbows out on David Outlechner. Austin Lee would also try and make his presence felt whilst he tried to move up the inside of Zsombor Kovac, who was sideways as he went past Matthew Higgins into turn 1 to retake the lead. Then Higgins and Kovac would then start going door to door, side pod to side pod, but the 375 from Trafalgar in Wales would make sure that he would stay ahead of the Hungarian. Even Petra Babičková thought she had an opportunity to contest for the race victory, managing to get past Zsombor Kovac, who then managed to put in a great defensive move on Austin Lee in the meantime. Austin Lee, however, would manage to try and go toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel with Petra Babičková, and like a rat up a drain pipe, enter stage left came David Outlechner and Dion van Werven. More battling was to be had between Lee and Babičková in the latter stages of the race, which would eventually be the battle for what would be P4 at the end of the race. But Matthew Higgins and Zsombor Kovac would continue, with Kovac gesticulating to Higgins, saying, "Come on, man, let's just pull away from the rest of the field." And that's exactly what they did, finishing 89 thousandths apart at the end of 11 laps of racing, with Kovac trying to go fast and furious towards the checkered flag, but it was to no avail. Right, well, join